Divine ones, hi, how are you guys? I haven't seen you guys in a while, or you haven't seen me in a while, rather, because I've not been feeling my best on my healing journey. I've really been struggling, and so here I am, how many days later? I think I did see you guys, what was that, maybe Friday or Saturday? I can't remember because I can't keep up with the days because I'm usually a day ahead or a day behind. And so that's just always how I've been. Just always behind schedule, as time is not even really real. So I don't really pay attention to it like that. I have to because I'm still in the matrix working, but really don't pay attention to time, really, honestly and truly. And I can't stand time because it doesn't benefit me in any kind of way. But I hope you guys are well. I'm starting to feel better. And if you are not well, I hope that you're taking the steps to get to a much better place in your life, as I am doing so to pull myself out of the hell that I've created due to the lack mindset that I've had most of my life, if not all of my life. And that lack mindset has caused me to settle for less and unfortunately not create the life that I am deserving of and worthy of. But I'm making changes now, and that stops with me as far as my generation is concerned. Yes, I am the generational curse breakers right in front of you, sitting right here. And it is no joke. It is definitely hard work. So, you know, and with that, it takes a lot of courage because you have to battle a lot of darkness, and enemies just are stacked up against you left and right because of it, because you are choosing to do something that no one else, in your bloodline has been gifted to do, and it just feels like the battle of your life. It just feels like the battle of your life. Like your life itself is just a constant non-stop battle. And with that, it's like, okay, we've got all these enemies stacked up against us. Okay, we got this one, we got a battle, that one over here, that one over here. I mean, all around you, 360. But the thing about it is, it's like, I'm not going to let them win. I'm not going to let them take over. I come up with my own tactics and how, I battle, these entities, that I come up against. And the thing is, it's like, I stand firm in what it is, what boundaries I set, and what rules I set, and what regulations I set. Even for myself, I've set new rules and new regulations, and, I have created a way of doing things that, or I am in the process of still creating, because it's a process too with mapping out how you're going to function, especially when you are becoming a new version of yourself. And when you're becoming a new version of yourself, you have to scrap everything. You have to scrap all of your old ways, and there becomes this new way of doing things. And this new way of doing things, it takes some getting used to because, it's new. It's new, and even yourself, you'll catch yourself reverting back to your old ways because you're still shedding an old version of yourself. And so, even with that, as you're building based on this new version of yourself, you've got these new enemies that you're having to battle, because new levels, new devils, as they say, right? So there's that. 428, as I said that, but it's like, man, it's like a process, and I feel like I'm doing a pretty good job in building this new process for this new version of myself, because I'm no longer allowing myself to become overwhelmed. I used to get overwhelmed pretty easily, but like I said, I think that was because I was in between the old version and the new version, and I'm more on the side of the new version and releasing the last little bits and pieces of the old version of myself. So I don't feel like I'm directly in the middle anymore. I feel like I'm more on the new side, more within the new version of myself than I am the old version of myself. So it's making the process easier. But becoming a new version of yourself is very complicated and difficult because of all the different flow of emotions that you're going through. And, that's why these last couple of weeks have been difficult, because, I'm still releasing the last little bits and pieces of the old version of myself. And it's very exhausting. It's very draining. Because, I'm having to maintain, who I am becoming in the midst of this whole process, while battling, my enemies left and right, backwards and forwards. And, I just refuse to let them get the best of me. I have my moments. I do. We all do, when it comes to this healing process. But whatever I feel, I'm just going to be real with you guys. Whatever comes up and whatever I feel, I let it happen. I just let it happen. I don't let it take over. That's the difference. I don't let it take over. I just feel whatever I'm feeling. I just let it. I let myself feel it. I let myself feel it, and I go through the process. Whenever whatever's coming up, I may feel it for a good couple of days, and sometimes it may span out to a whole week. However long that is, I just go ahead and feel it. I just really do. I don't try to rush the process. I don't. Because I feel like if I did that, then I wouldn't be able to filter through what I'm feeling fully in order to get through that. I feel like that's the thing about healing, that we need to afford ourselves the time to feel what it is that we feel, so that we can get through it properly. Because if you're trying to rush getting through how you're feeling, you're like, oh, I'm feeling sad right now, or depressed. I don't want to feel that right now, so I'm going to go hurry up and, and forget about it. And it's like, I feel like that's what stunts our growth and our process, is that right there, not getting through that time period in processing whatever it is that we need to process. And say the time frame is a whole 7 days, and we're trying to rush it because we don't want to feel it, because it's like, oh, I got too much I'm dealing with right now, I don't have time to feel this. And it's like, I feel like that's where we can tend to make a mistake. So I'm just reminding you all, 808 as I'm saying this, I'm just reminding you all, whatever it is that you're feeling. And that's why I haven't been on here, because I've just been kind of going through the flow of emotions that I've been experiencing in these last couple of weeks as I'm healing what I'm healing. But I feel like that's where we made the mistake, and that's where we have to be careful, is that whatever comes up, let's feel it for however long we need to feel it. Let's let that process take place, and be patient with ourselves, and be patient with the process, so that we can heal properly with whatever that is in particular that is coming up. I hope you guys can hear me, because I think I'm talking through my truck, because it's still on, because I got my heat on, and my heated seat is on too. Oh, well, it was on. I'm about to turn it back on. So let's, 528 as I'm saying this, so let's make sure that we are being patient with ourselves, and that we are giving ourselves grace and showing ourselves a lot of love through whatever is coming up, because there are going to be these different things that we'll need to work through, and we'll need to be patient with ourselves and work through these things. So I was definitely patient with myself, and I was loving with myself, because I made sure that, I fed myself plenty. I gave myself plenty of time to rest. Hold on one second. Sorry guys for the interruption. My son was coming up to the car, so I said, let me pause this real quick. He was just checking on me, making sure I was okay. So yes, but with the healing process, I'll always come in with kind of these similar messages, just as gentle reminders for those of you that are new, that, are coming in. And, you find my channel, or I'm in the algorithm some kind of way, or in your recommended videos popping up, as I'm still new to this whole YouTube thing. I think I've been on here maybe 2 to 4 months. I don't know. Somewhere in there. But I just always like to chime in with reminders that, you have to love yourself. And where I left off before the interruption, I was just saying that I made sure that I kind of spoiled myself a little bit with food, which was just me, because I have to stick to my diet, which was me just simply eating a little bit more, because I love to eat. I really enjoy eating. So I just ate a little bit more. I got a little bit more extra rest this weekend, and so that is how and then I indulged in some self-care. I think I did some things with my plants, and went to the park on a walk, and I think I gave myself a manicure and a pedicure. So I just showed myself some love, some self-love, some self-care, by feeding into myself a little bit more, because of what I was dealing with and the emotions that I was dealing with as well, that was resurfacing. So, just a reminder that when you are dealing with something very heavy, or even if it's not very heavy, just something that is coming up that you need to focus on, in regard to your healing journey, make sure that you're paying extra attention to yourself by giving yourself extra attention, extra love, extra care, in whatever way that may be, like cooking yourself a special meal. For those of you that are new to my channel, hi, welcome. I'm January Blue. This is the Healing House of January Blue. This is my channel where I talk about all things healing. And I'm presently working on something for us as a collective that we can rely on as a resource to help us through our healing journey. So I'm not just a person on here that has recorded videos, just talking about different things. And it may not be, enough. It may be a little something that you need, but it may not be enough. So I'm looking to present the collective with something that will be more personal, so that you guys can get more assistance in regard to what I feel you may need when it comes to your healing journey. So I'm still working on that. I'm looking to get that in the works very, very soon. That's all I'm going to say. And I don't want to give much detail, because, I want to keep things quiet until I fully release things. But I'll stop it here. That's all I wanted to say. Just a friendly reminder to show yourself love, show yourself patience, and be understanding with yourself, and allow yourself to go through the process fully and completely. Don't shut it off, before you fully get through what it is that your nervous system is bringing to the surface, or that your mind is bringing, your psyche is bringing to the surface, that you need to look at in order to heal, so that you can become the best version of yourself, if that is what you are looking to obtain. All right. So, all right, guys. It was good chatting with you guys. A quick health healing check-in. Like I said, I've been focused on my healing journey real heavy, and I've not been in the best energy while in the middle of that, so that's why you guys hadn't been seeing me as frequent as I had been on here. But I'm going to end it here. If no one has told you today that you are amazing, that you are absolutely capable of anything that you put your mind to, I will be the first. That you are so loved, that your existence is needed and necessary, that you have a purpose. Even if you don't know what it is, you have a purpose. And that you are so supported. If no one has told you that today, I'll be the first. Alright, guys. Until next time, love, peace, and grace.